curves, what are we looking at, ladies and gentlemen? A very important concept that is applicable on our daily lives. Every other day we encounter these learning curves. Ladies and gentlemen, remember when you began your very first job, I want to believe that you are really, really confused, like a young giraffe. Every time they wanted you to do things by debiting, you are always doing what you are crediting. You are doing your own things because you are still very new. You are still very, very new at your workplace. So you are very, very confused. Assuming today I was to be a carpenter, trust you me, the very first chair that I will produce will, in this case here, take me a very long time, and even the work itself will be very, very shoddy. I mean, that chair may not even be very balanced because I'm inexperienced. So as I produce my chairs here, the very first chair that I produce here will take me a longer time. The average time of this chair, for example, could be like, say, 10 hours. Average means time per chair, 10 hours. This is chair number one. But ladies and gentlemen, if chair number one takes me 10 hours, chair number two will take me 8 hours. Why? Because there is some experience that I've obtained by making chair number one. And of course, as I progress, so in this case here, I go to chair number 3, perhaps this may take me 5 hours. I go to chair number 4, perhaps this may take me 3 hours. I go to chair number, so every time in this case here, the quantity I produce increases. Every time the quantity I produce increases, what happens with the average time? The average time will keep on going down and down and down and down. But now let me ask you a question. Is it possible that, of course, as I produce more, I gain more experience, I start, in this case, here, producing these goods quite faster? But is it possible, for example, I may reach a time where I will be saying, let there be a chair without any time being taken. I get up a chair at 0 hours. Is it possible I become a superstar like that, and then I'll be blessing chairs and then they come up without any production time? It's not possible. It's not possible. It will reach a time, ladies and gentlemen, when I stabilize, where I will not be able to learn any further, and this is what we are calling K. So this K is a time of stability. This K is a time of stability. This K is time of stability. So after K, we don't expect, in this case, it doesn't matter now which number you will be producing. So assuming that this K is 3 hours, what does it mean of chair number 6? Chair number 6 will take 3 hours. Chair number 7 will take 3 hours. Chair number 8 now will take 3 hours. Why? Because we have stabilized. After you stabilize, no more learning. And this is very important. You're going to see this as we do CASNEB questions. That it shall reach a time where we stop, where learning ceases. Where learning ceases. Where learning does what here? Learning ceases. Learning ceases. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please listen and listen to Mwalimu here very well. I mean, this is very much applicable in our day-to-day lives. For those of you who have got kids, I want to believe, like, when you are getting your very, very first kid, I mean, it was quite torturous. Taking care of even this baby, I mean, wasn't that easy. This kid would sneeze a little bit and you were even, I mean, rushing to hospitals. But what happened in this case here when you got the second born? The second born, you started even slapping a little bit, isn't it? The third born, sasa umezoea na maisha. And then, of course, we have now the fourth born. So as you continue now, I mean, making more babies, then in this case here now, there is learning that has happened there. You'll even become like a doctor. You'll be able to even dispense some medicines in this case here without even, although that's very bad. That's very bad. But the thing is, you learn with time. That reminded me even myself. When I started teaching, ladies and gentlemen, a paper like advanced management accounting, I would not finish the syllabus in 6 months. I wouldn't. Because I mean, I never knew areas in this case here to touch here and there. You know, there are those areas once you touch, you'll be able to give students in this case here enough confidence to go and sit their exams. But in this case here, having taught now this paper for so many years, over 20 years, I mean, if you give me 2 months and you give me in this case here very cooperative students that we are able to say, watch this video, do this and this, I mean, I'll be able to clear this syllabus in 2 months and get everybody in this case here doing what here, passing. That is the concept of learning. And that is why, ladies and gentlemen, I would want to take this opportunity to ask you a question. When you will be having your own companies, will you be employing like people with zero experiences into sensitive roles? I know so many times guys have told me, Mwalimu, but you guys are asking for 10 years experience. But will you be employing? Is there somebody in this case here? Boost the sound, please. Boost the sound, please. Ruth, do you want to tell me that my sound is so low, really? Maybe it could be your internet. I think it could be. Yeah. The sound is perfect. I believe so. The sound is perfect. I believe so. The sound is okay because I can see from. The sound is okay. Just go here. We see. The sound is okay. Yeah, great. So, ladies and gentlemen, please trust. No. Mosoti, please. That will be so wrong of you. Getting only one kid as a Generation Z person, that will be very wrong of you. Hata wawili hawatoshi. Trust you me. Trust you me. Watu wengi ni baraka. Mtu asike kudanganya utapata mtoto mo. There will be no learning happening there. No learning happening there. Utamdekeza mtoto, itakuwa international water disaster. Not unless it's on, I mean, if it's on medical grounds, that is it. But a real ninja, how many? Mark my words, a real ninja like this. It's number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. A real ninja. A real ninja, and you'll thank me. You'll thank me later. You'll thank me later. Ladies and gentlemen, trust you me. There are some positions that you can't bring somebody into your organization without experience. Even myself, initially I used to think that, I mean, why would people keep on advertising jobs and then they ask for experience, and yet there is no school that teaches what your experience. But there are some positions. There are some positions like when you take your kids to hospital, right? To see some pediatrician, right? And then you realize that this pediatrician is so young. Will you be confident in this case here to have that kind of a doctor working on your kid? Or for example, if today, God forbid, you go to a hospital, you are taken in this case here, those are kind of scans, and then they tell you that, hey, your kidney has a problem, God forbid. And then here from nowhere, you see a very young man, aged 23 years. And then this young man is showing you the door to the theater. I mean, would you really trust that young man? There are some jobs where we need what we call what XP, and this is what we call the famous learning curve. The famous learning curve. So learning is all about what you experience. The more experience to become, the faster we shall produce. The higher the quality, the higher the quality. But in this case here, we are not looking at quality issues. We are looking at what we call productivity, being able to produce much faster. I would want to tell to you here today is an equation, learning curve equation that is used to ascertain what we call total time taken in my production. And to get this total time, we shall be saying that y equals ax raised to power b plus what here? Equals ax raised to power b plus 1. Y equals ax raised to power b plus 1. Y equals ax raised to power b plus who? Raised to power b plus 1. Raised to power b plus 1. Raised to power b plus 1. Raised to power b raised to power b plus 1. Now please listen and listen to Mwalimu very well. We shall overcome. Thank you very much. So this y equals ax raised to power b plus 1. You must always be very keen with this. And this will be in your exams. There are topics that you can't miss in your exams. Variances, learning curves. If you miss learning curves, you get regression. Although learning curves is what is very popular. Very popular. So in this case here, this y stands for total time. Y stands for total time. A stands for time taken to produce. Time taken to produce the first unit, like your firstborn. Time taken to produce the first unit. Then we have X here is total output. B, we call B the learning what here? We call B the learning index. And this learning index, we normally take log R divided by log 2. Anytime they want us to give them this learning index, we will be taking log R divided by log 2. Log R divided by log 2. Let me know once you guys are able to write up to here. Let me know once you guys are able to write up to here. Done. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And then this R stands for the learning rate. R stands for the learning rate. The learning rate. So the most important thing is you to appreciate the value of A. How do we get A? And how do we get this B? A is the time taken to produce the first unit, the very first unit. Time taken to produce the very first unit is our A. Now, example. Let's look at an example, ladies and gentlemen. Example. What do we have here? Example. Example. So if A equals, for example, 10 and R is 80%, we are required to determine number one, the total time for producing the first 30 units. Total time for producing the first 30 units. They want us to give them the total time for producing the first 30 units. Is the board okay, really? Seems like the board has a problem with most students here. Is the board okay? Is my board okay? Is my board okay? Is my board okay? Yeah. The board is okay. So determine the total time for producing the first 30 units. Determine the total time for producing the first 30 units. Determine the total time for producing. Determine the total time for producing the first 30 units. So then, if I'm given this kind of a question, what I will do? Oh, yay! I will come and write the equation for getting total time, the learning curve equation, because the learning curve parameters. So my y equals ax raised to power b plus 1. And the most important thing is for me to get this b. How do we get this b? To get b, we normally take log r divided by log 2. To get b, we normally take log r divided by log 2. Anytime they want us to get b, we will take log r divided by log 2. So Samuel says, Mwalimu, handwriting is very bad. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. That is not something I can really improve, but I will strive to, do something a little bit. But are you able to read these things here? Like log R, I'm an international disaster. Samuel Moto, international disaster, mnaona kidogo kidogo. Because perhaps also the ink, we may need a pen that is what here. The handwriting is very bad. The handwriting is very bad. We shall overcome. There is no way God can ever give you everything. If he was to do that, then you'll not be. So there must be something you lack. Everybody, you must be having something you lack. You can't really be a Mr. Know-it-all. You have this, you miss this. And that is what we call being human. Being human. All right. So in this case here, so we have here log R over log 2. So then we have here log R. What is our R? Our learning rate is 80%. So this becomes log 0.8 over logarithm 2. So please look at your calculator. Are you able to see the logarithm thing? Are you able to see the logarithm there? You press log 0.8. Here, there is nothing like using the log table. You can't use the log table here. So you say log 0.8 divided by log 2. 4 decimal places, remember. 4 decimal places, remember. Log 0.8 divided. So negative 0.3219. Negative 0.3219 like that. So I don't know whether it is all of us. And this one, you need a calculator. Please, my friends, everybody should be able to get this log. Log R over log 2. Everybody. Thank you so much. I've gotten very many responses. So I believe that Great. So then go ahead and give us B plus 1. Go ahead and give us B plus 1 because of this numerator. So B plus 1 is minus 0.3219 plus 1. Minus 0.3219 plus 1, which according to Juliana gives us 0.6781. 0.6781. And therefore, now I can write the equation here. Now I can write the equation. We have y equals ax raised to power b plus 1. So my y will be equal to a. A is the time taken to make the first unit. X raised to b plus 1, which is 0.6781 like that. So that is my y. That is my y. Y equals 10. X raised to 0.6781. Thank you very much. I can even see students giving me answers. Like now here, they want us to give them y for the first 30 units. So where x now is 30. Remember, x is quantity. So it will be 10 times 30 raised to 0.6781. 10 times 30 raised to 0.6781. Please ensure that you really know how to raise. Is there somebody who knows how to raise in their calculator? Raised is like this. Raised is like that. Raised. You must know how to raise. Everybody must know how to raise. 0.6781. 0.6781. Thank you so much. So according to J is getting 100. According to Ken, 100.377. Sherry, 100.377. Everybody here knows how to raise. Please, if you don't know how to raise, it is my problem. You should be able to tell me, Mwalimu, I don't know how to raise. Please help me. And I will be able to help you very well. I'll be able to help you very well. I'll be able to help you very well. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So up to here, are we together, all of us? Or is the handwriting very poor such that you can't see nothing? They are saying they are okay. Thank you so much. I told you, Mama who normally listens, I will really strive to be very good, to have a very good handwriting. From today, my handwriting will be the best. May God help me. May God help me. So that's question number 1 with a solution. Then we go to question number 2. So question number 2, time taken for units 21 to 40. So somebody wants you to give them the total time to be taken for producing units number 21 to units number 40. To unit number 40. Time taken for units 21 to unit number 40. So how many units do we have in between here? Between 21 and 40. I'm now writing the solution. How many units do we have between 21 and unit 40? 11. How did you calculate that, Faiza, honestly? Faiza, is it that you subtracted? Is it that you subtracted or something? 21? We shall overcome. So the worst mistake you can ever do is to make that kind of subtraction here. Thank you so much. I appreciate your contribution, but please, we shall not be doing that. So in this case here, they want us to give them the time 21 to 40. So then this one here, I have to expand. So how do I expand this? How do we expand this? So we need to expand this. To expand this, ladies and gentlemen, remember my number line, oh yeah. My number line, oh yeah. We have 19, 20, 21, all the way, 22, all the way to 40 like that. So I will come and say here, y fast, y fast, y fast. I'll come and say here, y first, y fast, 40. So I work with the upper limit, y fast 40. So when I say y first 40, what does it mean? That I've been able to take all the way up to this 40th unit. I've taken all these quantities up to the 40th unit. First 40 is from 1 to 40. So if I say y fast 40, nimejumulisha units mbaya. Because these guys wanted from 21 to 40. They wanted from here to here. They never wanted the first 20. So I must come and cut out what is not in this. Abracadabra, you'll get somebody saying, why fast 21? No. it will be y first. The one you are cutting out, the one that you are cutting out, ladies and gentlemen, will be the lower limit minus 1. The one that you are cutting out here will always be the lower limit, the lower limit, the lower limit minus 1. Upper limit sina shida nayo. Upper limit tasema y first 40 minus y first 21 minus 1. Always. Because I would want, you know, if you look at this thing with that inner eye, with that very inner eye, you will be able to see where these guys, what these guys are chopping off. They are not chopping off 21. 21 is included here. What they're chopping off here is the first 20. If you look at this thing from, I mean, your very, very inner eye, all right, you will be able to see, ladies and gentlemen, that these guys are chopping the first what here? The first 20. They're chopping the first 20. They're chopping the first 20. I'll be able to repeat there. They're chopping the first 20. So now, ladies and gentlemen, here you've got two models. Once you've been able to expand, the very best model is for you to come. Remember, our equation reads like this. Our equation says y equals 10x raised to b plus 1, which was 0.6781. And you see this 10 is common to both. So you need to come and put 10 outside the bracket, and then now you deal with the excess in the brackets. So the first x here is 40 raised to 0.6781 minus 20. Because you see now a is outside here. 20 raised to 0.6781. So is there somebody who is able to give me this thing abracadabra? So you say 10 times open bracket, abracadabra, abracadabra. You say 10 times, open bracket, 40 raised to 0.6781 minus 20 raised to that 0.6781. You close brackets, you give me an answer. You give me an answer. What are we getting here, abracadabra? What are we getting here, abracadabra? How I wish everybody would really give this one a shot like a real ninja. Like a real ninja. So like a real ninja, we have here 42. We have here 42. 121. Twende pole pole. Sema 10 times. NJ, I've never seen you getting it wrong today. I'm seeing you, NJ, getting it wrong. I don't know why, but we shall overcome. So what I want you to do, say 10 times, open bracket, you say 40 raised to this, minus 20 raised to this. And then you close bracket, you say equals. So I can see others saying 45.8, 45.75. It seems this 45.751 is the correct figure. Please ensure that all of us are getting this as I repeat and work on what Madam Winnie Steve asked us to do. Madam Winnie Steve asked us to explain how we got our B. So I hope all ninjas are still struggling to get this right. I hope all ninjas are struggling to get this right. So ladies and gentlemen, this is what we have to get B. I'm just repeating here. To get B, there is a special formula. You take log 2. No, you take log R divided by log 2. Log R divided by log 2. So log R, our R is given here as 80%. Don't say log 80. You must make it log 0.8 divided by log 2. Divided by log 2. So let's say log 0.8 divided by log 2. 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 All right. All right. So that is what we did. We need to get that B figure that you asked. I hope you are able to get this. And then Susan is asking a very simple question. Assuming in this case here the laws of indices, assuming we have got 3 squared minus 2 squared, will this be correct? If we were to factor out the square, I've never had that kind of really index, rules of index. This cannot work. But can you square? Can you come and take, for example, like 3 minus 2? 3 minus 2 is 1. 1 squared is 1. That cannot be proper. The laws of indices, remember, the laws of indices, they are quite different. They are quite different. Here you have to do these things separately. 3 squared is 9 minus 2 squared is 4. So you can't really factor out this even if they are the same. because indices cannot allow that to happen. Indices cannot not allow that to happen. Remember the rules of indices. If, for example, you're given here 2 raised to 5 divided by 2 raised to 3, then in high school we were told that you can write one number, the base, and then you subtract the powers. But you don't want to go to that really. We don't want to go to that concept. Never ever try, in this case here, to single out a power. You will never be right. You will never be right. So all of us, are we getting that 45.71 abracadabra? Why today they are seeing lots of dust. They're not getting these figures. They're not getting these figures. They are not getting these figures. They're not getting these figures, but we shall overcome. Now, still on this, the very last question, what if, from that same illustration, what if in this case here, number 3, they wanted you to give them the time taken to produce the 30th unit, time taken to produce the 30th unit, time taken to produce the 30th unit, time taken to produce the 30th unit. 30th unit. Remember, let me just remind you the equation. Our equation here is y equals 10x raised to 0.8, 6871. Remember, this is the equation. And then they want us to give them the time for producing the 30th unit. So I'll remain silent a little bit and get to see how my ninjas are handling this. Remember, I'm the chief CPA ninja. When I call upon you to do something, you must obey. Just like how the ninja training is. The ninja training, when a ninja comes and the chief ninja comes and says, turn right, throw your kick this way. You can't stay there like, and you are passive. No, you'll be beaten. So even here, even if you'll get it wrong, what I want you to do is to try. Just try. Give me any answer, including 0 is acceptable. Is acceptable. Just try. Just try. Just try. Just try. Y equals 10x raised to 0.6871. And then they want the time taken to produce the 30th unit. The 30th unit. Time taken to produce the 30th unit. So Samuel Moto, huyu Moto wa kuotea mbali, amesema 103.49. Remember, Samuel, I'm not talking of the first 30 units. Chogo, I'm not talking of the first 30 units. I think Lilian Ombui is the first one to get this right. I'm telling you, Lilian, were it not that today is on the 19th, which is quite a tricky date, I would have straight away given you a present. But today is a bad day. Today is a bad day. You can, even yourself, you can see where the date is. Yeah, it's quite a bad day. But that is the correct answer. That is the correct answer. Wamekataa. Wamekataa. Wamesema, Lilian, your answer is not even correct. Your answer is not even correct, Lilian. Wamekataa. Kina Ken wote wamekataa mambo yako. Wamesema ni 2.382. Wote hata kina Vero ukiona pale wamekataa. Wamesema hiyo yako ni uongo. Hata Veronica, iko Veronica wawili hata Ruth, hata Faiza wamekataa. Wamekataa. You see, when they talk of 30th unit, remember the way you are told. What you were told by your teacher. Your teacher told you vividly, I can remember very vividly. Your teacher told you that learning curves is a cumulative quantity model. You can't just come and say 30th unit 1. No, no, no. It's a cumulative. You must always expand. So like now when they talk of y 30th, when they say y 30th, then I need to come and say y first 30 minus y first something. To be left with 30 alone, I'll subtract y first what year? Y first what year? 29. Y first 29. And then now we will be able to come and put this 10 outside here. So we have 10 in this equation. X, the first x is 30 raised to 0.6871 minus now 29 raised to 0.6871. I think this is what those ninjas did to get that issue there, to get the 2.2 something, Ukweli ama uongo? Ukweli ama uongo? Ukweli ama uongo? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So then we should be able to now become very serious. Now we are going to become very serious by looking at something very interesting. This book of yours that I sent to you in class, the book that I sent to you in class has everything. You guys will really like. Actually, the moment you get this book, you may be surprised. Perhaps you don't even need me. You may be surprised. Perhaps you don't need me. This book, ni mambo yote. Yeah. So let's come here, my friends. Let's come here, my friends. Prayer break. Okay, great. So when we come back, we expect you to have gotten this answer. So you shall come back at 6:53. Test your understanding 4. Test your understanding 4. Or is there anybody who was able to give us an answer? Is there anybody who was able to give us an answer for the question that I left you guys to try? For the question that I left you guys to try. Imagine it's a very easy question, really. The first batch of a new product took how many hours? 20 hours to produce. The learning rate is what here? 90%. If the learning effect ceases after 72 batches, i.e. all subsequent batches take the same time as the 72nd, how long will it take to make 100 batches? I may miss all the marks, but there are marks I know I will never miss, like the mark of getting B. That one, ladies and gentlemen, I will always get it right. To get B is the easiest thing. To get B is the easiest thing. So is there anybody who was able to get B? Is there anybody who was able to get B? To get B, ladies and gentlemen, this is normally what we do. The formula is logarithm of R divided by logarithm of 2. So logarithm of R, this will be log 0. What here? You see, R is 90%, isn't it? So it will be log of 0.9. Divide this by log 2. Divide this by log 2. NJ, my friend. NJ, my friend. So in this case, there is somebody asking about the book. I would want that book shared in the paid group. I would want somebody, Mary Ann, please share that book, not here, but in the paid group. Mary Ann, please help Mwalimu. So it is minus 1.520. Thank you so much. So then we want B plus 1. How do we get B? I mean, this is very easy. It will be minus 0.152 plus 1. Already shared. Thank you very much. Great. So B plus 1. Oh, Faiza uongo. At B ni 0.847. Uongo. Uongo Faiza. B ndio hii hapa bwana. Minus 0.152. Just press there. Log 0.9 over log 2. Oh, Faiza is talking about B plus 1. You're the one who confused me, Faiza. You're the one who has just confused me. It is 0.8 0.848, right? 48. Thank you so much. That's B plus 1. And then I will never forget the equation because the examiner gives a mark for the equation. So our y equals ax raised to power b plus 1. That's the general form. That is the general form. So I must also learn how to organize my work now on the board very well. Now I must be very serious with life. So y then will be equal to a. A is the time taken to make the first unit. Are you able to see the time taken to make the first unit? Has it been given in this book? Time taken to make the first unit. And J, 72, Oscar. Where do you get 72, honestly, Oscar, from? Allah, we shall overcome Oscar. Oscar, time, you know 72, these are units, Oscar. Allah, the first batch of a new product took 20 hours to produce. A is the time taken to make the first unit. A is the time taken to make the first unit. Time, it must be in hours or minutes. So 20x raised to b plus 1, which is 0.848 like that. So that is my equation for substitution. And then they have given me the time of stability. Time of stability. Time of stability like this. So time of stability, this is the time for the 72nd unit. 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 So is there somebody who is able to give me this time of the 70? Because they've told that learning ceases on the 72nd unit. After that, no more learning. After that, flat. Everything is flat. Thank you very much, NJ. NJ is a very good student here. NJ amejua mwalimu, this needs some expansion. So we need to come here and say, why? We need to come here and say, y 72, 72nd? It will be y first 72 minus y first 71 to be able to cut and be left with the 72nd unit alone. And then we shall come and put A outside. Fortunately, we know A. We know A is 20. And then inside here, we can now deal with quantities. So now we talk of 72 raised to 0.848 minus 71 raised to 0.848. Like that. So like a ninja. 20 times, open brackets, 72 raised to that, minus 71 raised to that. What figure are we getting? So that's why I'm being told is 8.8, 628 hours now per you, because it's only one unit. It is only one unit. It is only one unit. So then our output will be divided into 2. Now we shall be able to divide our output into 2. We shall be able to divide our output into 2. Remember, we have output. They want us in this case here to account for 100 batches. So out of these 100 batches, we have the first 72. And then we have the last how many? Like how you do it in tax. So we have the first 72, and then the last how many, abracadabra, to make it the last 100 wongo. You have already accounted for 72 here. Now you are left with 20 here. The last 28. So in this case here, the first 72, use learning curve. Here we shall use the learning curve to estimate. How about the last 28? Remember, these last 28 are coming after stabilizing. Now these are coming after stabilizing. So this one, we shall use the stable time, the stability time. This one, we shall use the stability time. So now, learning curve, yeah, we have an equation now. Learning curve, it will be 20 times quantity is 72 raised to 0.848. So is there somebody who can give me this first time taken to make the first 72? Time taken to make the first 72. Time taken to make the first 72. Time taken to make the first 72. To make the first 72. J sasa 22 umetoa wapi J woye? Ama ulikuwa unamaanisha 72. Woye. 20 times 72 raised to, alikuwa anamaanisha even typing error. So Vero anasema 751. Ati hapa ni 751. 751.71 ama 0.705 hours. So these are hours. These are hours. Na sasa hizi stability time tutadu nini? Hizi stability time tutadu nini? Tutaduaje? Hizi stability time. Hizi stability time tutafanya nini? The stability time tutafanya nini? The stability time tutafanya nini? Abracadabra. Hizi stability time tutafanya nini? Ma tuachane nazo. The ones that come after. Multiply. Tuachane uongo. Uongo. Yeah. We have the time to produce the 72nd unit. Are you able to remember that time of producing the 72nd? Because now we have stabilized. After we stabilize, all the units that are coming after stabilizing, now they shall use the same uniform time. They shall use the same uniform time. Are you able to remember the 8.8 something? The 72nd time. 8.8 something. Woi, niko peke yangu lakini I will overcome. 8.8, 628. 628. Remember, that's why I call these hours per unit, and the ones that are coming after stabilizing, they are 28. The ones coming after we stabilize, they are 28. They are 28. Remember the learning curve. So in this case here, up to unit 72, we apply the learning curve. But after 72nd unit, now here we have stabilized. So if we stabilize at this 8.8 something, meaning that 73 will also be 8.874. So in this case here, the last 28 units, there is no learning. If there is no learning, then we shall be able to use this 8.8 something, where I'm now being given 248.1584. And therefore, the total time for 100 batches, total time for 100 batches will be equal to who? Total time, 100 batches will be this plus this, which gives me what figure? 100 batches. So the first 72, I account for them using the learning curve. The others, I use, so 999. 999.8643 hours C, like that. Hours 8643 hours C, or just 1,000. Ladies and gentlemen, I would want to draw your attention to May 2017. May 2017, question number 2. May 2017, question number 2. Once you get that question, please put your thumbs up like this, live like a real ninja. Live like a real ninja. How do you get the 999? No problem. We took the time for the first 7 to this one plus this. This plus gave us this. Or 1,000. Or 1,000. Or 1,000. Or 1,000. So Ruth, I hope you are able to see that. And I can see there is a serious ninja there who has